Rosa A. Domantay, Arnolfo Domantay, Ferdinand Domantay, Bernardo Domantay, and Philip Jude Thaddeus Domantay. So, let me read the text. Pangasinan, Municipality of Malasiki, King Philip Educational Scholarship Grant, Nodong and Gloria Domantay, founded 2023 in cooperation with Malasiki Agno Valley College, Certificate of Scholarship. This certificate is proudly presented to grateful recognition of his or academic excellence as high school scholar of King Philip Educational Scholarship Grant, Nodong and Gloria Domantay, founded 2023, given this 27th day of January 2024 at Bulawit Basketball Court, Malasiki, Pangasinan, Philippines. Signed, Rosa A. Domantay, Principal Sponsor, Ferdinand A. Domantay, Sponsor, Bernardo A. Domantay, Sponsor, Marlon L. Ferrer, Program Coordinator, Jerome M. Patungan, Program Coordinator, Philip Jude Thaddeus A. Domantay, Founder. Alexander S. Dulay, Eliza May D. Ferrer, Hannah B. Gargaque, John Lloyd M. Montemayor, Patricia May C. Pagandian, Danica M. Ramos, Okay, let's proceed to college scholars. So we have 30 scholars. Avalos Christian Cole. His parent, Mr. Avalos Dan Trio I. Criminology from Baluyot Bautista. Parents, Mr. Aquino, Jerry, and Mrs. Aquino, Teresita. Aquino Jubel H, BSN from Baluyot Bautista. Parents, Mr. Aquino Jonas DV and Mrs. Aquino Rowena H. Aquino Jubel H, BSN from Baluyot Bautista. Parents, Mr. Aquino Jonas TV and Mrs. Aquino Rowena H. Barbosa John Mark S, BS Criminology from Baquindiong, Malasiki. Parents, Mrs. Joby Barbosa and Mr. Mario Barbosa. BSED from Bacnuno, Bayambang. Parents, Mr. Conrado D. Benatua, Sr. and Mrs. Lolita D.L. Arenas. Benitez
from Cadre, Bayambang.
Parents, Mrs. Consuelo C. Lamsen.
Castro John Mark T.L., B.S. Criminology from Poblacion, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Manuel Castro and Mrs. Melba Castro.
Cerezo Angeline O., B.S. Ed from Lucob Sur, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Jaime F. Cerezo Jr. and Mrs. Rona O. Cerezo.
Corpus Jamaica S., BSA from Gatugan, Bautista.
Parents, Mrs. Magnolia C. Segundo.
Rivera Prince Joshua M., B.S. Criminology from Kabildatan, Basista.
Parents, Mrs. Lailani B. De Vera and Mr. Bob C. C. De Vera.
De La Cruz Geraldine Rachel B., B.S. Ed from Mabulita, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Raul M. De La Cruz and Mrs. Rebecca B. De La Cruz.
De La Cruz Mary Grace M., B.S. Ed, Kabildatan, Basista.
Parents, Mr. Paul John M. De La Cruz.
Domantay Jasmine A., B.S. Criminology from Gilig, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Perfecto B. Domantay and Mrs. Anisita A. Domantay.
Puntanilla Cariza Fe R., B.S. Ed from Larug-Larug, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Domingo D. Fontanilla and Mrs. Marisa R. Fontanilla.
Bunyo Vanessa L., B.S. Ed from Balayguaya, Bayambang.
Parents, Mr. Rogelio R. Junio and Mrs. Josefina L. Junio.
Makaraag Adrian Roy B., B.S. Criminology from Gabatling, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Virgilio B. Macaraeg and Mrs. Lucia B. Macaraeg.
Makaraag Jessica L., B.S. Ed from Mabulito, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Jesus R. Macaraeg and Mrs. Marife C. Lugana.
Mangaliag Karina M., B.S. Criminology from Maluwer, Bayambang.
Parents, Mrs. Lani M. Magalyag and Mr. Crisanto Magalyag.
Palisok Nori Jane D., B.S. Ed, Malimpag, Malasiki.
Parents, Mr. Palisok Alfredo B. and Mrs. Palisok Doriza D.
Barilla April Clarice F., B.S. Ed from Umando, Malasiki.
Parents, Mrs. Leonarda F. Parilla and Mr. Alfredo L. Parilla.
Peralta Michelle R., B.S. Ed.
Parents, Mr. Josefino U. Peralta and Mrs. Loretta R. Peralta.
Betines Wenzel V., B.S. Criminology from Poblacion,
Remedios Sar Pinto. Parents, Mr. Santos Orlando B. and Mrs. Santos Corazon G.
Soriano Sunshine May B. BS Ed from Talos Patang, Malasiking.
Parents, Mr. Sonny Soriano and Mrs. Maricel Soriano.
Tirado GOP BS Criminology from Poblacion, Malasiking.
Parents, Mr. Sergio S. Tirado and Mrs. Virginia Tirado.
Untalan Mia P. BE Ed from Lubog, Norte, Malasiking.
Parents, Mrs. Gloria P. Ontalan.
Adrian BS Ed from Abunagan, Malasiking.
Parents, Mrs. Josefina Ballo.
Among these grantees, there stood 2 individuals of school and college scholars. We now award the King Philip High School Top Gun and College Top Gun.
Our college Top Gun will be awarded to
Avalos Christian Paul, BS Criminology from Matalava, Lingayen.
Parents, Mr. Abalos Lantrio I.
Okay, so sa lahat ng may napili po kami isang Top Gun Best Performer, isa sa high school at isa sa college.
So our college Top Gun will be awarded to Jennifer R. Pinto, B.Ed from high school po. Our high school Top Gun will be awarded to Eliza May D. Ferrer, grade 7 from Bulawit, Malasiki. And our college Top Gun will be awarded to Jennifer R. Pinto, B.Ed from Bugtong, Malasiki.
Congratulations